Welcome guys to my channel Hardcode. In this video we'll see how to integrate Netflix DGS GraphQL API with Spring Boot, and we will use MongoDB as our backend. So first of all, why GraphQL? So I have noted 3 points. So in GraphQL you only get those data that you have requested, and those results already you know that we need those data, so it's predictable, and GraphQL is fast and stable service. So more information you can get from this link graphql.org. So this is the home page for GraphQL documentation, so you can refer this documentation for more details. We'll cover almost everything in this course, so stay tuned. So you can see here at the bottom, these are the users. You can see here lots of users are using GraphQL as their backend. So first of all, we see some basics of GraphQL. At the beginning, we will see fields in GraphQL. In fields, like you have to start all the GraphQL queries using root curly braces. All the results will contain in this curly braces. This is the root object in GraphQL. And like if you have a field like, so you have to give other field name, and again address will contain some nested object like country, state. So this is your query in GraphQL, and you will get a result with respect to this GraphQL. Like if I show you example, this is my query, and I will receive this data. So this will be my response under hero. This is the main parent object data, and hero is my field, so hero. And under hero I only requested for name, so I only get name. So if you requested for like age, so then you will also get a age data if available for that hero, right? So you will get only those data that you have requested. So this all about fields. So one more thing, like if you have something like array like object here, like friends, so a hero have one or many friends, so it will be a array. So in the result you can get friends as array. Okay, so you can see you will get only those values that you have requested, and the structure of the response will be as a JSON. So for these friends objects you may have one or more friends, so you will get an array. So let's see a real-time example of fields, and the next one is arguments. First of all, query, and I will name the query as get employee by ID. And under that I have a method in GraphQL, find employee by ID, so I'll take it, and it needs employee ID for return an employee. So I will take employee ID from my MongoDB. So this is my Mongo database. I have more than 2.2k documents, which are mock document I have collected. So I'll search for this field as ID. And we have to also specify what the results, what the data we need from this find employee ID. So if you hit control space, you get suggestion what the details this API provides. So I need full name and gender first of all. Then I will hit this run button, and I will get this data, which is exactly same as DB. So I also require this object type, then I mention like address list, and this is another object, so it is a nested object under this data. So you can see under data field we have this find employee by id, and we have the fields of our employee. So under the address list we have several other nested fields like state and country. So we are getting those fields as an array. So in here you can see we used employee id as our argument. So you can specify your argument here as well as here. So next we see some naming conventions. Here you can see after query, if you put something, put a phrase, it will be considered as the operation name, and this is the variable name, input variable name. So what is the use of input variable? You can declare these query variables here in a separate object rather than hardcode in direct. So first you declare the employee ID starting with a $, and the type of this input, like it is a string type, and you have to declare this employee ID in the query parameter. You have to pass this employee ID. So this employee ID is taking this employee ID as a input, and this is a string type, and you are putting giving this input from query variables field. So if I run this query, you will get a similar result. Okay, so the next one is the mutation. So in query we can only request for data, we cannot modify anything in our backend. So for it is like for if we compare with REST API, it will like get request. The another type is mutation. So you can see register employee, we have a query at the backend, and it requires an employee request. So if you click in stock, you will get all that APIs that we have in our GraphQL server. So this is a mutation. We have a register employee, a query. This will take our employee input. So the employee input consists of 3 or 4 fields, and these are nested fields. So you can copy this data. Okay. So we have declared this data in our query field as well. So similar to inputs, we have to declare first employee input type, and it will be our employee input type. You can see here it will register employee will take you can see register employee will take employee input as its input, and it will return a string. Actually it will return the ID of the employee. So we can feed this employee input in our field, and we will run the query. So I have changed that parameters value. So employee input I have taken as a parent under the root object, and I have provided some mandatory fields and some optional values. So check again. Okay, so I am getting a employee object as a string. So I have mentioned the return type as a string, so I am getting that string. So I can, if I mention the return value as employee, then I will get a JSON formatted document. So you can see in mutation I have a string output, so I am getting the object value as a string. So for subscription, we'll check it at the end because we require some more configuration and more understanding to work with subscription. So we'll take it later. Thank you for watching this video, guys. We will start the integration part in the next video. So please like and subscribe for further updates.